Hey guys, thank you so much for joining me back on my channel today. I wanted to share the cabbage soup that is my go-to when I first start my Weight Watchers journey. Now, I get off track sometimes, but when I restart and get back into the routine of eating well, I always have cabbage soup on hand. And I tell you that first week that you're back is always the most difficult. And so I always like to have something to munch on that's very low points and filling at the same time. So this is my soup. So it's a pretty traditional cabbage soup. I'm just slicing and dicing a couple of red onions. Um, and I'm just, the soup is to taste, really, right? So as long as you've got the ingredients, it doesn't really matter how much of it you actually put in, with exception of a few things. So I'm chopping the red onion. Now, if you didn't have red onion, you could easily use a white or yellow or even a green onion, whatever you wanted. Here I have some garlic that I just minced up. If you have the already, minced stuff that comes like either in a jar or in a squeeze tube, you could easily use that as well. This is just some celery that I'm using. Now, if you really like celery, use a lot of celery. I'm not a huge fan of celery. Like, I like it, especially with dips and whatnot, but like in soup, it's not my favorite. If it's something is really cooked down, then if the cabbage is really cooked down, then I could eat a bit more of it because you can't really taste it. But in this soup, I don't like so much of it. So I didn't put so much celery. Here I'm just peeling some carrots. This was like the end of my bag, and so I wanted to use these 3 carrots up. If you had baby carrots, you could use those as well. Even frozen would work. Frozen veg would totally work in this as well. So I'm just going to chop, like it's just a rough chop, nothing crazy or perfect. This is like a more rustic kind of soup. And these are carrots here. Now, if you really like carrots, add a lot of carrots. I thought 3 would have been more than enough, so that is what I am adding here. And then you see that I have the cabbage that's sitting in the background there on my counter. I eventually get to that as well. Yeah, so I put all my ingredients in a bowl and just let them kind of hang out for a bit while I do my chopping. I really love mushrooms in the soup as well. The mushrooms add kind of like a meaty kind of more filling texture to me. And if you really like mushrooms, use a lot because you guys know that when you cook down mushrooms, they pretty much disappear. They really shrink down a lot. So I decided that I was going to use the cremini, which are just baby portobellos. You could use a white button mushroom, which I use as well. Sometimes it just depends on what I have on hand and what I've bought that week at the grocery store. Here I'm going through my cabbage. So I'm just making it into more manageable, I'm just cutting it into more manageable, like mouth-sized pieces. I don't like the cabbage to just totally disappear. I like the actual taste of the cabbage, and I feel like when the chunks are bigger, it's more filling. Does that make sense? So here I have a big pot, and I just sprayed a bit of some PAM, some aerosol spray, oil spray in the bottom of the pan. Oh, there I am adjusting, sorry. And I added the vegetables. Now I'm going to give them a good bit of caramelization. And this will happen rather quickly and easily because there isn't a lot of oil at the bottom of that pot. So the vegetables are really just going and creating their own fond. So there you are. I just showed you the bottom of the pan had some yummy brown bits at the bottom. I'm adding my celery. I'm adding my cabbage right now. I always let my vegetables cook a little before I add the celery. I don't know why that is. I've always done it that way. So I give them like a 10-minute head start just so that they're starting to get soft and the onions are translucent and the garlic has cooked down a little bit. And yeah, and now I cook everything together. Now you see here that it's been cooking for about 10 or 15 minutes. Not rocket science. I'm adding 1 package of onion soup mix and 1 can of diced tomatoes. You could use whatever you have on hand. And I'm going to use 2 containers of beef broth. This happens to be the low sodium, and it's only 5 or 10 calories per cup. So pretty low fat. And I just let this sit and cook and reduce and let all the flavors meld. Here I just added a chicken flavored bouillon cube. If you had some mix, you could use that as well if you wanted to. But this is it. This is the soup, guys. You can let it cook down as long as you want or as little as you want. I like when it cooks down for quite a little bit, like, I don't know, half an hour or so. So this is the finished soup. I hope you guys enjoyed my video. I hope you guys will like it, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and thank you so much for watching. Oh, and I should mention that this soup is 2 Weight Watchers points per serving. So isn't that awesome? Pretty low and filling. Thanks for watching again. Thanks, guys. Bye.